Alright, so in this lesson we're going to learn about the ER4U robot. To begin with, let's open up our Sim student curriculum and go to Unit 3, Elements of Automation and Introduction to Automation. So we'll scroll down here. You can see the key concepts. This is what we ought to be learning. This is what we'll be doing, and the essential questions for critical thinking that should take place. Obviously, you guys know that you have to do your key terms, so here they are. Those are very important. Alright, so quickly, let's open up the RoboCell planning so you can see the sheet. As you can see, you guys will use this in the planning of your robot programs. You will find this in doc sharing in eCompanion. So feel free to take it out, save it to your H drive. You can enter your positions in here as such. I'll have to enable the editing. Okay, so position 1, it was at, well, this could be a metric, 500 in the X, 200 in the Y, and 200 in the Z, and we aren't worried about pitch or roll at this point. You get the idea. You can plan your positions out. So we'll minimize that. And next we're going to open up our first routine here, pick and place routine. And pick and place is just what it says. You're going to pick an object up and you're going to place it somewhere else. This happens all the time in manufacturing, just transferring of parts from one place to another. You can robots can save a whole bunch of money this way, and although they're expensive to purchase, you can repurpose them. So let's open up the pick and place. This is going to give us some directions on what to do. So this is our directions to set up our cell setup. So next we're going to go minimize this, open up cell setup. Cell setup is the program that we use to create the basically the picture that gets used when we do our programming. So it's pretty useful. You can put robots and machines and all kinds of things in your cell that you can use. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to select a robot. I'm going to pick the ER4U because that's the model we own. Say OK. Now over here, these are all the things that I can put out into my work area. So if I go back to my directions, it says add a robot, no slide base. Alright. Okay, let's put this over here so we have our directions. So click here, robot. Double click, no slide base. I can have different slide bases that IntelliTech make, but I don't need any right now. I'll just say OK. It's placed in the center. Say OK. So I want to see where that robot's located. It is located at X0, Y0. So next it says to add a table. Alright. I will come over here, general, table. What size is it? It said to make 1,000 by 1,000. Good enough. I can change the color of the table if I want. So I'll just make mine white. Say OK. And place the table somewhere. Just click to place the table. Now if I want to move an object, if I hover over this, drag object, I can pick my table and I can drag it around. Since everything is in relationship to the robot, X0, Y0, this should work just fine. It doesn't exactly matter right now where the table is located, Cartesian coordinate wise. So I pick the slider bar on the right, I can change the level at which I'm looking at it, in other words the camera view. If I right click and hold it down, I've got rotation. Oops, I want to get out of that. So we're going to escape that. So if I want to zoom in, I can right click and rollerball in as well. Change my camera view right there. Okay, next it says we need to add a block. So add a cube. It's 40 by 40 by 40 at a position of 400 and 0. You'll see what that means in a minute. So I'm going to go materials. I want a cube. You can see all the different types of objects we can put in here. Let's first of all put a cube. It defaults to 40 by 40 millimeters. Again, you can change the color. I'm going to leave it as red because it's good contrast to the table. So would blue. So if we want blue, I'll change it there and say okay. Now I'm just going to pick a spot and put it on the table. By default, it's at 0 in the Z, which is at the bottom of the robot. So let's now, if you double click on the cube, you can rename the cube if you want. But all I'm interested in is the position of the cube. So remember it said 400, so here's the X, and here is the Y. Now you can see that it's at 400 in the X, and the Y is 0. So if I want to change the position of the cube again, let's do this. What if I wanted to put it positive 400 in the Y and 0 in the X? Where's it going to be? Well, now you see, sorry, it's over here in the Y, not the X, because the X is this direction, Y is this direction, Z is up and down. Alright, let's change that back. Change this to 400 and 0. Okay. Well, now what? Save this graphic file. Well, we should give it a name. Let's call it file. Save as. For now, I want you guys to save it on your H drive in your sim folder. Create a folder for ER4U. Right now, to make this easy, I am just going to save it to my desktop. I'm going to name it pick and place. My initials, which please put your initials in yours, and save it. So that concludes our introduction to the cell setup. Later on you will open this within RoboCell, which is a programming, and we'll do that in our next video.